So when I first moved to the Abbey as a layperson, it so happened that one of the old friends of the Abbey, a Chinese nun named Venerable Jendi, was here to visit. And so because she's very senior in ordination, there was a question and answer session organized for her with the Anagarikas at the time. And I was a layperson just curious about monastic life, so I had the opportunity to attend that Q&A. And it was a really helpful session. I've thought a lot about the advice she gave us at that session over the years. And one story that was coming up recently for me was a story she told about how she was at chanting session one day. So as you know, in the Chinese tradition, chanting is a very big part of the practice. You do it at least like 2 hours a day in the morning and the evening. So Venerable Jendi described how she was at chanting, and it was very beautiful and melodious, and she found herself kind of lost in this reverie, appreciating the chanting. And then suddenly she noticed that one of the nuns was kind of out of line or out of tune or just doing something that was not part of the group. And then she found her mind really annoyed. Like, this person is disrupting my peaceful mind and all this beautiful chanting. Why are they doing this? And then when she saw that, then she realized, oh, I still have this. And that was the story she told us. So I've been thinking a lot about her statement, I still have this. Yeah, because very often when I'm noticing something is out of line or it's not according to community guidelines, and I can feel that anger or irritation arise in myself, I don't pause and say, I still have this, right? My mind goes to, we gotta fix it. When am I gonna talk to so-and-so? They should remember the guidelines, right? My mind's often running there. Even if I notice that there's anger, I may not stop to calm my mind. I just immediately I'm on how do I fix the situation outside of myself, versus thinking, oh, this is information for me on what I need to work on. I still have this. And I guess I was thinking about this too in the context of how monastery life, community life, is just this incredible mirror for the mind. We don't get to be distracted by too much. And so every day as we go about our day, afflictions are going to arise, and we just get to see, I still have this, I still have this, I still have this. Like, and then very often, as Venerable mentioned in the teaching this morning, it's you may not even catch, I still have this, right? It's more, wham, I'm right, and you're wrong, and we got to fix it. And I was thinking how that's just so different from, you expect you come to a monastery and it's going to be like peaceful and light and love and bliss. And I still have this. And sometimes when I think about that, I ask myself, did I miss the memo? It's a very long memo. But, when I look inside, I'm not going to see light, love, and bliss. What am I going to see? Samsara, the first part, right? I'm not anywhere near the nirvana and Buddha nature part, yeah? But what am I going to see is all the stuff I still have, the samsara piece. It reminded me of how the very first meditation retreat I sat, very early on when I first met the Dharma, it was led by one of these like very cheerful, joyful looking Chinese nuns in the Chan tradition. And she said to us one day, the mind is a 1,000-year-old shithole. I was like, what? And she said, when you meditate, you clean a small corner. And I was like, okay. But that has really worked for me over the years, Like, you look inside, what do you expect to see? It's a 1,000-year-old, right? It's all the causes that have kept you cycling in cyclic existence since beginningless time. You're not going to look in and be like, oh, I'm so close to the first bhumi. It's like, no. And the trouble is when we over-identify with what we see, right? For a long time, I thought, I am the 1,000-year-old shithole. And like, oh, woe is me. So yeah, maybe sometimes, strong metaphors like that, if you tend to over-identify, may not work so well. So I was thinking too about Lama Yeshe and how he taught in the Discovering Buddhism. One of the modules had this video of him explaining what meditation is, and that's also stuck with me a long time. So I'm not so courageous. Basically, he had a cup of water, and he said, "This is your mind." He was shaking it, with water inside, and he said, when you meditate, you're just temporarily calming the mind. And he said, then you get to see what's in the water. And of course, at the time, I thought, we're going to find some beautiful stones or, I don't know, marbles, pretty things. Not quite. And you get to see all the dirt, the oil, all the gunk that's built up. But again, not to judge yourself, but to say, okay, we got to start taking this out. And we learn all the techniques. But I don't know about you. Sometimes in retreat, I look in that glass of water or the pond, and it's like I find this giant old car that's been sunk to the bottom, and it's this huge wreck. And it's like, who put it there? It's been rusting for a really long time. And it's like, okay, what are the antidotes? And I feel like I have a fork to remove the car. I'm there like, huh? Use this like centuries old rusted metal, and it's like, okay. But you have to start somewhere, right? So you put on your diving suit and you go swim and you move one piece of metal and call it good for today. And then you go back tomorrow and you keep going. I still have this. It's very big, but better to start there than to keep adding to the wreckage. I think that's why I love working on the land here, actually. I know a lot of people think I'm a couch potato, but sometimes I do get out. And when I'm spraying weeds, that's what I think about. Like, it feels like this whole property is it's an excellent metaphor for the mind, yeah? You spray one corner this year, oh, yay! And then the other corner, a whole bunch of new weeds come up. And it's like, okay, next year we'll take care of that. Okay, and then you just slowly work on this huge piece of land, but over time, grass comes back, it starts to get restored, but that work is never quite finished, yeah? But you don't give up, and you don't get discouraged, and you don't decide, that's it, let's not even bother trying. Yeah. So I guess that's why I was thinking about Venerable Chandi's advice. Just this reminder that as we go about our day, it's such a precious opportunity to notice what we have, and not to get upset or discouraged, but to see, oh yeah, well, that's information, I still have this. And that encourages us to keep practicing and keep going. And all of us are on the same path. Yeah. In fact, it's the wrong view, right, of ignorance and arrogance that we all come into our practice with thinking, I don't have this, I'm totally fine. And so the recognition of I still have this is the first step. So not to get discouraged by that, but to pick up the fork and get going.